My nails are still wet. Ooh. Okay. You guys might be too close. And also, how am I supposed to touch my stuff and my nails are wet? I clearly did not think this through today. Hello and welcome to the Honeybee Nuts podcast channel. My name is Melissa and I am coming to you from Springboro, Ohio, which is about 45 minutes north of Cincinnati, where I live with my husband, our dog, and 2 cats. It is currently 9 p.m. after 9, almost 9:30 on, what is today? Today's Saturday, Saturday, March 16th. Is today St. Patrick's Day? I think it is. Maybe tomorrow? I can never remember. Is it the 16th? Is it the 17th? I don't know. Anyway, happy St. Patrick's Day regardless. Hope you guys are having a wonderful time and being very safe. I'm hoping to have this published tonight, but as I said, it's 9 p.m. So things today got a little off track, to say the least. Gonna start. I want to say, before I get started, thank you to all returning viewers. I'm so glad you came back. And hello to all new viewers. I hope you enjoyed the podcast. It might be a bit all over the place because my brain, for some reason today, cannot focus. But I hope you enjoy what I have to share and will come back and see me again. If you like anything that I mention in today's podcast, please like and subscribe below. I think it's below. It might be this way, or this way. I don't know. And if you're full screen, it's nowhere. You have to wait till the video ends. So anyway, also I think it depends on what device you're using. See, okay, squirrel. It's going to be one of those episodes, guys, and I apologize in advance. But as you may have noticed in my last couple videos, editing has been very few and far between for me. I have been trying to, so this episode is going to start out with some chit chat. So last year, my friend Jess passed away, and most of you who have been with me for a long time know that already. I did a fundraiser for her family and with a special colorway, and you guys knocked it out of the park and helped me raise so much money for her family. And as the anniversary of her death is rolling around, it's just, it's been on my mind a lot lately. And so I just want to thank everybody again for all of their support, whether you could afford to buy a skein or not. If you even just sent a message to me or just sent up a thought for her family, just all of it. I just want to thank everybody for that. So the reason why I bring that up is because that was a crappy start to 2018. And I noticed when I was going through some of my older podcasts to pull, I have my scrappy yarn blanket. This is all over the place. I don't know why I started with this today, but I promise it's going to be a positive episode. So my scrappy yarn blanket, I knit a square and I do it with the yarn that I've used in the order that I used it. So I went through at the beginning of this year and made a list using my videos of which finished objects I finished in what order. And when I was doing that, I kind of noticed that last year my podcast was all over the place. And you may have noticed that I didn't podcast very often last year. And it's something that I didn't really address. And I was talking about it with my friends on Zoom last night. Hi guys. And I just thought I would throw it out there that last year was kind of and you guys know this, you saw some changes happening in my life. I lost 40 pounds. I had I started going to therapy. I started taking new medication and trying to focus on myself and just be more self-centered and trusting of myself, which is very important for us. I talked a lot about my weight, a lot about being body positive and confident, and all of that is still true today. But I am prone to depression, and this winter has been an extremely hard one for me. Actually, every winter is. From right after Christmas to about the end of February, those 2 months are always the hardest for me. And actually, sometimes before Christmas, because my grandfather died, has it been 5 years, I think, ago? And it was around my birthday, and I was graduating college and going on a family vacation, and I felt so much guilt for being gone when he passed. And so that just marked a really difficult time for me, that threw me into depression for the first time, where I was actually diagnosed with depression, and medicated for it. And ever since that year, it's progressively gotten worse each year. Now, I wouldn't say that completely. I would say that was the worst time, and it took me the longest to come out of it. I think I was depressed for close to 6 months, and it was the worst depression I have ever experienced. But ever since that time frame, I have noticed that during the winter time, I get depressed. And then I realized, talking about it, being open about it, with my friends, with my therapist, with my family, it's normal. It is so completely normal. Almost everybody, if not everybody, I don't want to say everybody because I don't want to classify everybody, but has some sort of depression in the wintertime, especially in the States. And I'm not saying that they don't elsewhere either, but with the sun rising earlier and the sun going down sooner, and you only have, I mean, it's dark when you wake up and it's dark when you leave work, and it's just horrible. It's dark all the time. And you know, for me, dark means sleep. And so it's a time when, you know, I'm just sleeping a lot, and that's just not healthy. So anyway, I've had some recommendations for like sun lamps and things like that, which I'm totally going to try. But the reason I put all this out there is because this past last year, when I was in my darkest, lowest places, I didn't talk about it as much. I waited until I was in a positive, happy place to podcast, or tried to. And so you guys didn't get to see that. This year, however, and I would edit a lot of things out. So that, like, for example, like comments that I would make, or different things that I would talk about, I would edit it out, because when I watched it back, I want this to be a happy place. I want this to be a place where people can sit down with their knitting and enjoy seeing somebody else's projects. I know that a lot of you are in areas where you don't have access to local knitting groups, and may not, or maybe you're just not the social type who likes to go sit with a group of people and knit, but you still want to connect with somebody on that level. And so that's what I want this to be. And so a lot of times I will leave things out of the podcast, and I've tried to be as open as possible, but there are times when I will take something out, because I don't want this to be a place where it becomes a downer, basically. I want this to be a happy place, and it will continue to be. But the reason why I bring this up is this year I have done much less editing. The only time I edit is when I pause, or I say a really bad cuss word, because it is a part of my daily language. I have a foul mouth. Some of you may not know that. And I do want this to be a place where somebody can watch the podcast when they have children in the room. So, you know, hell, shit, and damn are going to be said. Those are what Levi taught me from the wise wisdom of Miss Wilma, the words that are okay to say in public. So those definitely would be in the podcast, but anything else will not be, and edited out. But anyway, so the reason why I started the podcast off like this today is just to say that there's not going to be as much editing. And I'm okay with that. I hope you guys are too. I'm just trying to be more myself, and I want to bring you guys through my journey because I want to be healthier physically and mentally, and I want you guys to be healthier physically and mentally. And I just think it's the type of support that I want, so it's the type of support I want to give everybody else. And so that being said, there's going to be times when I talk about that kind of stuff because it's very prevalent in my current daily life. That being said, after this long speech at the beginning of a podcast, this won't happen again. In the beginning, I can't promise that it won't happen again, but for the most part, my chit chat about what is going on with me and what I'm going through and experiencing will be at the end of future podcasts, not in the beginning. So just throwing that out there before we get started. And you know what is so funny is I did not plan on doing this. This was totally like, I didn't sit down and say, okay, I'm going to talk about this and this and this and this. I didn't even think about what I was going to talk about other than the knitting stuff that I have over here. This just came out. So apparently it's been weighing on my mind, and I just wanted to put that out there for you guys. Yeah. So if you have any questions or comments about anything that I talk about in this podcast, including everything that I just said, please leave them below. And I will try to get back to you. I know I've been bad about that lately, but you can also always DM me on Instagram or message me on Revelry. Those are always really good places to get a hold of me. So, today is going to be a squirrel, and the reason why I brought up editing is because we're going to talk a little bit about how today went before we get into the knitting content. So I woke up this morning and I had every intention to podcast first thing. The plan was to get up, shower, paint my nails because they were really bad, and I got them painted, and podcast. And then I was going to spend the day organizing my shelves, and getting stuff ready to de-stash tomorrow. Yes, I'm going to be having a de-stash tomorrow. I'll talk more about that. And then go to my nephew's birthday party, come home, edit the podcast, and upload it. That did not happen. What happened was I woke up and I realized I had started walking last week and watching really closely what I eat and trying to drink more water and get back to that mode I was in at the end of last year, because I had lost 40 pounds and I was in a good place. Well, over this depressing winter and Christmas time, I've gained 20 of that back. And so I'm not beating myself up for it. You know, I could have in the past, when I have gone through these depressive episodes, I have used food as a way to give myself pleasure and joy. I do have an eating disorder. I think I mentioned it on the podcast before, and if I haven't, I'm putting that out there now. And in the past, I would use food as a source of joy, and also buying yarn. That's what gave me pleasure. And before yarn, before knitting, it was clothes, and before that it was books. And you know, so there's just always been this compulsive nature in me to try to get quick win pleasures for myself when I'm feeling low. But those things are unhealthy. They lead to weight gain, they lead to overspending, they lead to over stashing. We can never have enough yarn, let's put that out there right now. But there's a lot of other goals that I have in my life with Jason, and you know, we're not debt free. And so that is somewhere where we would like to be, and we would like to do that young so that we can enjoy our lives and travel and you know, not have to worry about, you know, what happens if one of us loses our jobs or if one of us gets sick. So I wasn't able to meet those goals as quickly because of how much I was spending, and I know that. And so that's why I do not have as many acquisitions in the past as in the past. But that being said, I typically use food as a way to, and I said I was going to talk about this at the end, and I'm totally not. I'm talking about it now, apparently, before we get into the February content. If you would like to skip past this, I do not blame you. I should have said that off the top. This is a knitting podcast, and I promise there will be knitting. Oh, there will be knitting. But before we get to that, let me finish this while it's fresh in my mind. So I gained 20 pounds over the winter time. And in the past, I would have gained back what I lost plus 10 to 20 pounds. So I am calling it a win that I did not gain back 50 pounds or 60 pounds, and I only gained back 20, because I'm still 20 pounds less than when I started. And I'm still doing the work, putting in the time, putting in the effort, and trying to make healthier decisions. And I need to do better. We can all do better, right? We all need to do better as humans. So just putting it out there. So today, back to today. Still not sure. Squirrel moments all over the place. Anyway, so today I was going to do that. But instead, I got up and I walked on the treadmill for 40 minutes. And then I took my dog on a walk. And then I took a shower, and Jason had other plans, apparently. I had forgotten that we needed to go get a birthday gift for my nephew. And also, I'm reorganizing my shelves, and I needed to get more tubs from the dollar store. So we went to lunch, Panera, soup and salad, very healthy. We went and got a gift for my nephew, and then we went to the dollar store, and I got some totes, and then came home. And then we had a rush out. By that time, it was like 3:15, and we were supposed to be at the birthday party at 3:30. So we left, went to my nephew's 4th birthday party, which was amazing. He's such a cute kid, and he's so incredibly smart. And Jason got a pie in the face. I'll see if I can insert a video here. It's my husband, my nephew, and my sister-in-law. Actually, yeah, no, I'm not going to do that, actually. Sorry, guys. If you want to see the video, you can go check it out on my Instagram stories, but I'm not going to do that because here it's permanent and out there on the internet, and I don't want people to be seeing my 4-year-old nephew out there on the internet. It is on Instagram, but it's it'll disappear after 24 hours, so I'm okay with it being there, but not so much on YouTube, so never mind. If you want to see it, go check out my Instagram. Anyway, so my husband got pied in the face today, so he kind of had a pie himself, because I don't think Kaden really understood what he was supposed to do, but yeah. Anyway, so when we came home, I was exhausted. This morning I had walked 3.5 miles, and then we went and ran errands, and then I went to a 4-year-old's birthday party, and so I was just done. And so Jason and I were like, let's lay down and take an hour nap, get refreshed, and come back and podcast. And that was at like 6:30. Well, I didn't wake up again until 8, so 8:30 actually, and that's why. And then it took me forever to get the podcast set up because I was doing some Instagram giveaways. So, the nap is why I look like this. My hair is a mess. I'm a little bit disheveled, wrinkled, but it's fine because this is me, this is life, and this is what you get. So now, after 20 minutes of rambling on, sorry, hope you guys skipped through if you didn't want to see it and you don't unsubscribe for it, but you know, it is what it is. I'm trying to be myself. So I have 1 FO, 3 whips as far as knitting goes, and then I have an FO and 1 whip for spinning, and then I have a few acquisitions. So let's go ahead and get started. I don't have any giveaways today. There's no giveaways, but I will maybe on the next podcast. We'll see. I don't know. Anyway, so my first is an FO that you guys didn't even see as a whip. But I did talk about it. I had mentioned on my last podcast that I was going to knit this review. It's Manos del Uruguay Feliz. And it is 70% merino superwash, 30% modal, 350 yards per 100 grams. And I had the color Wildflowers. And I don't know. Yeah, it's so pretty. I love this colorway. So I didn't really care for it in the skein or when I balled it up, but knit up and in this pattern, it's gorgeous. I had said that I was going to knit I don't even know what. I was gonna knit the With Grace in Your Heart shawl by Kay the Crazy Sock Lady. And I realized after that podcast, when I went to go cast it on, I believe that following Monday, sorry, I'm looking up the pattern I actually knit. I didn't have enough yardage for that shawl. And because this is a fingering weight shawl, the With Grace in Your Heart pattern is, and the yarn that I have is actually more of a sport weight. So I ended up picking a different pattern. I will be knitting up the With Grace in Your Heart shawl. It just is taking me a bit longer to get to that. Which is great because now I can either stash dive to find the perfect yarn for it or dye some up. I'm going to my library on Revelry. This is the Driftwood shawl by Vera Valimaki. And let me see if I can show you guys. So I ended up knitting it, and I actually ended up finishing it last night because designing didn't make me happy. And so I stopped designing, and so now Mondays and Fridays are for reviews until those reviews are finished. And then I will be, until the reviews are finished. And then once the reviews are finished, I will be doing Small Project Friday once again. So let me just clip some ends here. One end there, and then that's fine. We don't want to clip that end. That needs woven in, and this end needs woven in. So I still have two ends that I need to weave in. This did take me 2 skeins, and here it is. So, a couple of things. The yarn is gorgeous. The pattern is beautiful. But as you can see, so I'm going to say the negative right off the bat. Which, I mean, yarn, there's differences in indie dyed yarn, right? I mean, Felice is Monostyle Uruguay, and I've talked about it before. They basically support women's collectives in more impoverished countries. And so, but that being said, they are a bigger company, and so the dye variance, in my opinion, with larger companies is typically less than with indie dyers because they are doing huge batches at one time. That being said, these are the 2 skeins they sent me, and it's pretty obvious that one skein was much, much lighter than the other skein. This was the first skein I used, and this was the second skein I used, and they're the same colorway. So that was really disappointing for me when I was working with this. And I much prefer the darker skein than the lighter skein. The lighter skein pretty, but I really like the darker skein. But it's my fault because I should have been able to recognize that with, I mean, it's not my fault that the variance is so much, but I should have recognized that in the skein and alternated skeins in the shawl, but I didn't, so this is what I get. That being said, this yarn is fabulous. It's incredibly soft. It's a pleasure to work with. It knits up so incredibly quickly because it is more of a sport weight yarn. And I just enjoyed every minute of knitting with this yarn. I really did. And I think out of all the yarn that I've done a review for so far, this has been my favorite to work with. I've always enjoyed monos and working with monos, but this, I don't know if it's the modal in it, but I just really, really enjoyed working with this yarn. I can't say enough good things about the yarns, but what I will say that if you have a project that takes more than one skein, just make sure to check your tones, and if they are different, alternate skeins so that you don't end up with this, right? Knitting 101. So, also, I meant to tell you guys that this is the review for this yarn. So there will not be a separate video on this. I'm not doing the separate videos any longer. And because I'm doing the review here, and I may have forgotten to say it last time, if you haven't noticed, I have advertisements in my videos. Because why not, right? I mean, I am putting out a product for free and on YouTube's platform, and I'm bringing viewers to their channel to watch me, and so I get paid for the advertising. That being said, I've never gotten paid. I have a YouTube account, and I think I have, like, I don't know, how long have I been podcasting? 2 years. I need to check the date of my podiversary because I think it's this month. I need to check that. But I've been podcasting for 2 years, and I have like $250. It's very minimal. I've never cashed it out, so there's that. But I do have advertisements, and because I have advertisements in my videos and I'm doing reviews, I have to tell you that I did not get paid to do a review for this yarn. They sent me the yarn for free in exchange for my honest opinion, and that was it. So I do want to thank Manos for partnering with me for this review. Knitting with this yarn was a pleasure, and I really did enjoy it. That being said, that's the end of the yarn review portion. Now I'm going to talk about the pattern a little bit. So this is the Driftwood by Vera Valimaki, and it gives the illusion that there are cables because of yarn overs and decreases, but there's actually no cabling. So if you like the look of the cables but you don't like cabling, then this is the shawl for you. That being said, this is an OCD person's nightmare, and here's why. And I'm very disappointed by the end product. Somebody will love this shawl, I'm sure, as a gift, but it's not for me. And here's why. So this is your starting point. You start with so many stitches, and you start out with 2, 4, 5 5 lace sections. So you have a symmetrical panel here because you have 2 lace sections pointing into a V, and you have 2 lace sections here pointing into a V, and then you have just this extra one just hanging out over here, right? Okay, so that's my first issue with, you know, when I say OCD person's nightmare, I mean, I really don't like this extra one just hanging out here. I think that either this one should have been in the middle, or they should have extended it a little more to make room for a 6th lace panel, you know, make 3 huge lace panels. Okay, well, apparently I think the designer may have realized that too, because about, let's see, about about a third of the way into the wrap, she has you start doing increases. And I don't know if you can see, they're very subtle right here. They start there, and see, this is my increase section. So she has an increase section there, and then also right here. So it starts, where is it at? I just saw it. Hang on. Right here. Okay, so it's not as obvious. So it starts right about there, and it just travels up right here. You can kind of see it right there. And after you do those increases, I thought this was a rectangular wrap. So you increase about 20 stitches or so. And when you get done with the increases, you start doing additional lace panels. So now, remember the 2, 2, and the 1? Well, now you have a full lace panel here, a half one right here that, like, if you put it together with this one, it would point up, but you don't. This is just like an extra one right there. And then you have the original one right here, and then she throws in one right there, and then here's your original one right here. So you add 2 lace sections, and it's just, I don't know. She's the designer, not me. So this is how it ends, right? So you're left with a, what I thought was rectangular wrap, that is about, let's see, so let's line these ends up, 3, 4, 5-ish inches longer on one side, wider on one side. So if you like weirdly, oddly shaped / lacy things, then this pattern's for you. If you don't knit this pattern. It's beautiful in the pictures, and I mean, it is beautiful if you don't look at it up close, but this just drove me nuts and I didn't understand it. That being said, I highly enjoyed knitting it. I really enjoyed knitting it, and I think it's because of the yarn. It's a very easy pattern to memorize, and it changes often enough to keep your interest. And blocking it was a nightmare. It was oh my gosh, my hair is crazy, but yeah, blocking it was a pure nightmare. So that's my finished object. It did take 2 skeins. I used almost all of the first skein. I think I have about 20 or 25 grams left. So with that one being finished, the next thing that I am casting on for my review, and this will be the last review that I will be doing, is the Tally-Ho blanket. And it is a baby blanket, and you can't really see it very well from the pictures. I requested pink and they sent me blue. I'm not sure why, but you know, whatever, that's fine. I like the blue. This is by Appalachian Baby Design, and the yarn is US organic cotton. It's a sport weight, and it is supposed to be baby yarn. So there it is. My heater is running right now, and I'm not quite sure why, because it's hot up here. But anyway, so I'm going to be using this to make a baby blanket. And to make the baby blanket, I decided to do a little review of some needles. Now, the needles I did purchase myself. They were not given to me. This yarn was given to me for free. But the needles I was not given. Somebody had reached out to me. I had mentioned I had an idea for a product that I need to have manufactured, and I haven't taken any steps towards that product, but I do have an idea for it, and hopefully one day I can look into having a prototype made, and I will share that with you guys. But I reached out and said, hey, does anybody have any experience with making prototypes? And this company reached out and said, hey, I invented a new knitting needle. I might be able to help you. And I said, you invented a new knitting needle? Excuse me? Because I'm going to need to try that out. So I went to their website, and at the time I had just received the yarn for the baby blanket, and I was like, because I was like, I don't know what size to get. And I was like, I'll use it for the baby blanket review. And it's kind of perfect because it's cotton yarn. So, and these are wood needles. And I don't typically like working with wood needles, but I can make an exception because these are some pretty cool needles. I've showed these before, I believe. But these are My Two Ladies. That's the name of the brand. And what's cool is you get 2 different needles. And they're technically straight needles. They're not circular needles. Here's what, they are adjustable cable lengths. So we all know that working with really long needles for straight needles for blankets is a pain because they poke you in the stomach, and they're very heavy on the ends, and you got to keep scooting your stitches up, right? So, and then sometimes blankets get, like if you're working with a circular knitting needle, blankets are really, really heavy. And so it puts a lot of stress on the joins of our circular knitting needles. And then interchangeable knitters, you have to continue to stop and twist them back together. Doesn't matter what interchangeable set you buy, they all do that. Don't even tell me differently, because I have like, I think 7 different brands of interchangeable needles, and it doesn't matter who made them, they all do it. So that's something you don't have to worry about these, because these are fixed, and they do have the swivel cables where the needle freely moves from the cable. But what you do is they have these little springs that you can adjust the size that you need. So it keeps the stitches bunched together. So if you have not a lot of stitches, you keep it here. If you have some stitches, more so than not, keep it here. If you have a lot of stitches, you can keep it out here. And it just makes it so that it can't go past this point. If you only have this many needles, then those needles are going to stay at the end. But if you have more needles and you need more room, you just make more room. Or if you have more stitches and you need more room. So all the stitches will stay toward wherever you need them to be. So I thought it was a really neat idea. I wish they were in metal, and she is just, I mean, she's smaller, so maybe eventually they will be. But right now they're wood. And I got the US 7s because that's what I need for the baby blanket. And I'm going to be testing them out with the baby blanket, and I'm really excited about it. So that is my next, what is it called? Project review. I'm dying, guys. Okay, so this is, by the way, I was using the Tanny Casey bag that Levi gifted me for Christmas. Oops, it's got a little wrinkle in the bottom. For my knitting review, and I love this Jen Hewitt fabric. So that is the first FO. My second FO is spinning, so I'm gonna flip gears here. I'm so excited to show this to you guys. So if you remember, I did a review for Kramer Yarns, I don't know, sometime last year, and I applied it all into, or I spun it all into a single, and then I was spinning some contrasting yarn to apply it with, and I finished it. So here's what I have. And guys, I am so excited about how this turned out. I did have every intention of the world to weigh these and tell you guys how much yardage was in these before I started podcasting. Then I didn't do it because, you know, naps are important. But yeah, so let me just unskein these, which I'm going to regret because these are very large skeins, so they're hard to do. But look at all those colors. I'm so excited. The project I plan on making is some sort of sweater, poncho, cami type thing. I don't know. I'll figure it out next year when I knit it up. It is a very heavy wool. I think it's not next to skin soft. It's very rustic. But I'm still going to do it anyway because I just think it's going to look amazing, and it will be semi self-striping. That's the first skein. And then, actually that was the last skein, but here's the first skein, guys. It's so pretty. There's so many different colors in this. I love how it turned out. So I do think this is going to be close to a worsted weight yarn. It is chunky in a few areas, but yeah. So there's no way to actually show you guys all the colors in here without knitting it up, which hopefully I get to do next year. I could not get the skein back up. It is a pain in the butt, but anyway, there they are. Yarn babies. So before I get into my knitting whips, let me show you my spinning whip, because I only have one that I started this week. This is my bat. I'm not going to take it out because it's kind of collapsing now. This is actually not called a bat. This is called a bump, and it's center pull. So you just pull the fiber from the middle and spin it up. I got this at Rhinebeck from Loop Studio in Rhinebeck, and it is called Night Rainbow. And oops, I had it upside down. There you guys go. It was 5.1 ounces, and this fiber prep is amazing. And this is what I got spun up so far. And granted, you can't see the beautiful teal and yellow that's in here, or green, because it's covered up. I'm on my second layer, but this is what I have spun up so far. It does have, let me tell you the fiber content real quick and I'll show it to you again. It has merino, angelina, and nylon. So it does have a bit of sparkle in there. I don't know if you can see it very well, but yeah, it's so pretty. And I will be finishing spinning this up. I am about 2/3 of the way finished. I'll finish spinning this up this week, and then when the following week I will apply it, and hopefully this is an FO on my next podcast because it's just gorgeous. But yeah, it is so pretty and I love it so much, and I can't wait to see how this is going to look tied up. So that is my spinning whip. And let's move on to whips. Boop, boop. I told you this podcast was going to be all over the place, right guys? Okay, so this is my March, why did I say January? March Desert Vista Dye Work socks, and I wanted to have these done for the podcast, but I did not have as much knitting time last Saturday or today. I barely knit. I actually haven't knit anything today. This is her gold base, which is her sparkle sock weight with gold Selena. This is her 2018 exclusive colorway. I'm number 49 of 100, and this is called Rose Champagne. That being said, I'm pretty salty because my lucky number is 13, and Jess got number 13 of 100. So Jess from Army, she's the 2-6 and String podcast, Army Wife Knitting Life on Instagram, and she got my lucky number. So whatever, it's fine. And here is the yarn. It's so pretty. I finished one sock tube minus a heel, so I gotta do another sock tube and 2 heels. So here it is. Isn't it so pretty, guys? I love it. She nailed it. I'm so glad. It's pink because I'm a pink girl. It's really pretty. So right here is my contrasting yarn for my heel that I'm going to cut in. And I do the afterthought heel, but this is what I have so far. So I am going to hopefully cast on my second sock while editing the podcast tonight. Hopefully. That's the plan. But apparently plans are changing today, and I don't know. I just can't deal with my hair today. So that is that. And then, that was in this fringe bag, and I love my fringe bags. You guys know this. They're kind of an obsession, and I'm lucky enough to have the ones that I have. So anyway, love them. This one's in my town bag, my brown one. And here is my Scrappy Sunday project. So you guys haven't seen this, I don't think, since Advent. I had finished my adventurous wrap, and I needed a new scrappy shawl to work on, and this one was next on my list. So let me figure out, yep, this is the right side. Here it is, guys. This is using the Teeny Button Studio advent calendar, and this rotates between like a broken garter stitch pattern and then like some lacy panel, and so it is kind of wavy on some ends depending on like the lace panel that you just finished. Like this one was really loose lace panel, but that'll all block out. So this is the last color I did, and I am officially halfway done, and I think this is just gorgeous. This pattern is the Winter Wonderland of Minis wrap by Laura Brady, which was included in my Honeybee Nuts advent calendar that I sent out this year. And I decided to use the Teeny Button Studio advent calendar for it because I wanted to do this with my advent kit because, you know, it was included in mine. But I had the Teeny Button Studio one, and it was only, she has mostly 10-gram minis in her advent calendar. And the Adventurous wrap, you have, like, in the beginning, you can have 10-gram minis, but by the end, you need 20 grams. And so I didn't want to take the risk of running out. So I decided to flip-flop the patterns that I originally was going to do. I was going to do Adventurous wrap for Teeny Button, and I was going to do this for Honeybee Knits, but I just switched them around, and I think it's gorgeous. I love that it's showing off the yarn. So I have 12 more sections to do. I think that depending on how busy my Sundays are, I think that I can get about 2 sections done each Sunday, because I start my days out working on my scrappy blankets. I have my big one that you guys have seen a million times, and I put at least 2 squares on that. And then I have my stained glass blanket that you guys have not seen, that is only Honeybee Nuts yarn, and they're big squares, and so when I'm done with one square, I will bring it up and show it to you guys, which should be the next podcast, because I think I only have 2 squares left. I think I might have 3. I think I have 2. I don't know. We'll see. Figure it out. So that is that wet. Excuse me while I get a drink of water because my throat hurts. Okay. So my next whip is In My Bag by WTF Knitting, and I love this bag. Matches the project. This is my Whip It Thursday shawl. This is my I think it's called Apparition by Boo Knits. What's it called? Sorry, going back in the pile here. Apparition. And I'm using Hedgehog Fibers lace in the Spell colorway. I put a spell on you, and now you're mine. I meant to mention, for my other shawl that I just showed, the Winter Wonderland of Minis, I was on the wrong needle size. It has the wrong needle size on it because I stole the needles. So I actually ended up ordering some more size 4 signature interchangeables. I ordered 2 more sets, so I'll have 3, because there's so many patterns right now that are using size 4s, and these are my favorite to knit with right now, are my signatures. Plus they're purple. They're so pretty. You know me in color. But this is... So I stole these, originally I stole them from my Winter Wonderland of Minis to use on my Spellman sweater. And then I stole them from my Spellman sweater to work back on my Winter Wonderland of Minis. And then I stole it from Winter Wonderland of Minis to work on Apparition because I didn't like the needles I was using. I was using Melodies. And I love the Melodies. They were like my favorite to knit with for the longest time. And I think it's just this yarn. I don't like knitting. I think the thicker the yarn, the better those work. I didn't like knitting lace with them at all. I'm not a fan of wood needles. And while they had the metal tips, no, I wasn't using the Melodies. I was using the, what are they called, guys? I can't remember. I don't remember. Royals. The Royals. These ones. And I don't know, they're too sticky right here for lace knitting for me. A lot of people like to use wood for lace because they're like, they like the stickiness in case they drop a stitch, but for me, I don't like the stickiness with lace. But anyway, here's what I got. It's exactly the same as what I had last week or last podcast, because I ripped it all out and restarted, and I got caught up to where I left off, which is there are, I believe, 7 charts, and this is chart 1 and 2 finished. There, I did 2 repeats of chart 2. So now I'm going to start chart 3 this week, hopefully, and I actually get to start beading. So I am excited. Yeah, I enjoy knitting on this. I really do. But it takes so much brain power and concentration that it's difficult to get the motivation to do this. I will admit that this only got worked on this week. It didn't get worked on the week before. I don't remember if I didn't knit at all or if I just decided my brain couldn't handle it the week before. I don't remember, but either way, I only worked on it this week. But I think it's going to be beautiful, and I'm really excited to see how it turns out. Purple and black. And if I work on it every 2 weeks, then maybe it'll be done before October. Because we all know these Whip It Thursday projects take me forever to get off the needles. That being said, let's be honest and say that last year I started out the year with, I believe, 36 whips. So I started 2018 with 36 whips, not including my Cozy Memories blanket. And I ended without frogging anything. I started 2019 with 24 whips, which is amazing, which makes it seem like I only did like 12 projects last year, which isn't true. That doesn't take into account the stuff I casted on and finished in 2018, which was a lot, but I don't know how much because I didn't track it last year. I am going back to tracking it this year. Last year was a rough year for me, but I am back on track this year, and I am excited, and I am excited to podcast. Last year felt like podcasting was a bit of a chore. I'm going to be 100% honest. This year I have just enjoyed it so much, and I feel like my passion for podcasting is back. So I look forward to it so much, and I get really sad when I can't podcast. So, acquisitions, and then I have some knit along news. So I showed you my Tanny Casey bag from Levi. Well, remember I said I went to her shop and I was gonna buy the rose gold one she had, but somebody cart tracked me. She made more, and I got one. Guys, it is so pretty. I love her bags. They're French style bags. They got the grommets in the pocket inside. The canvas, the wax canvas bottom, the canvas interior. I think it's canvas interior. Yeah, hers are lined, so that's the difference between Fringe and hers, is that hers have lining inside, whereas Fringe just had canvas fabric, and that's what you got. So hers are lined, and I do really like that. I will say that I like, this is bigger than a Fringe bag as far as length, but I think that it's a bit narrower as far as width goes. And I do like how wide the Fringe bags are. I think I would rather have width over length, or width over height. But overall, like, her bags are amazing. But I wouldn't say that they're going to replace my Fringe bags. But guys, look at that. Yes, it's so pretty. I love this. And I did look, she had some other fabrics that, bags that I really like. And by the way, in my opinion, for the quality that you're getting for this bag, they're incredibly affordable. Especially if, you know, Fringe is outside of your price range, this might be in your price range. So I highly recommend you check her out. This is Tanny Casey, Tannei-Casey. I will say they are still expensive. And I think they're worth it for the quality, but I mean, I can understand if somebody wouldn't want to pay that much money for a project bag. But I would say that they're well worth it if you do happen to want to treat yourself, and can't afford to do so. So I really like this bag. She had some other fabrics I really liked, but I wasn't like, oh, I've got to have it. Like this one and this one, like these ones I had to have. I didn't have to have them. I did get a new fringe bag. I had this bag before, but I actually, you know, I ended up, somebody else really wanted the bag, and so I sold it to them. Because I was like, I have enough right now. I don't, like, I can wait till they come back. And at the time they were sold out everywhere. And so I sold it and bought a new one because I do really love the plum a lot, so much. It's my favorite wax canvas one that they have. It's gorgeous. So pretty. This is my color, guys. This is my color palette this year. I want everything in this color. Are my Spellman pullovers in that color? I really want them to come out with this in a town bag so bad. Like, you have no idea how badly. But anyway, so I did get that. Yeah, this week, not this week, but the past week or so, the past 2 weeks, this week I didn't buy anything. So the week before, I did purchase a bit more than what I've been trying to, but I've really been reining it in and not doing so bad. So I think this is skein number 4 for this year. I think actually skein number 3. I can't remember. It's either 3 or 4. So I haven't bought too much yarn. But this is the only yarn that I acquired. This is Coloring Book Yarns. Not my colors. And now that I think back, I was having a really bad day when I bought this. And I saw that she had an update and she still had some, which in her shop, which is like unheard of. She's really amazing. If you message her, she will do custom orders. It says that she doesn't on her website, but on Etsy, but if you message her, she will do it. That's how I got some of the colorways I have from her. Her yarn is so soft. This one, I don't know why I bought this. I don't know why I purchased it. Probably because it's Coloring Book Yarns and she still had some and I was having a bad day. But I'm trying to get away from the idea that I need all of the colorways from certain dyers or all of the bags from certain designers, and instead just picking my favorites. So this is not something under my new rules for myself that I would have purchased, but I did. It's called Merrymaking, and it's actually a very good gender neutral color. So I don't have a lot of yarn to knit socks for my dad, my stepdad, and my husband. So this may go into the pile to knit socks for them. I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to let it sit on my shelf for a while. And if I decide it's still not bringing me joy, then I will de-stash it. Which is sad because I'm just now bringing it into my stash. But I had a moment of weakness. And I do really love her yarn. It is so incredibly soft. And her colorways are so vibrant. And the colors are gorgeous. It's just not my colors. But yeah, I mean, I love it, but a little bit buyer's remorse because I'm trying to be good. Okay, my next acquisition leads me to a knit along / giveaway. So I decided that I want to do a color knit along where every 2 weeks, maybe we should do a month. We'll start with every 2 weeks and see how it goes. No, let's do every month. Let's do every month. So every 4 weeks, I will pick a new color. And we will do a knit along where anything that you knit in that color, anything that you finish in that color can be entered into the thread. So we'll do it monthly. And then you will get a prize that is associated with that color. You will get a bag and yarn. So I haven't picked out the yarn for this. Excuse me. I have not picked out the yarn, but I have picked out the bag. But this month's color is blue. So we got blue nails. We got blue here. And I have been loving the blue. My phone's blue. Love blue. This is going to be my entry. Blue. And here's going to be the bag prize. Blue. So this is a bag from Laura Brady of Knit for Brains podcast. If you have not checked out their podcast, go do it. It's amazing. Mother-daughter podcast in Bradley, Illinois, about, what do they say? About 40 miles south of Chicago, north of Chicago, east, west, I don't know. I almost have their intro memorized, but not really. Anyway, so this is a new bag design she came out. It is also the canvas fringe style drawstring bag with a handle. I love the handle. And look at the interior fabric. Guys, isn't that just gorgeous? To me, this is totally reversible, and it has so many pockets inside. It has one big pocket. It has, let's see, a small pocket here, a big pocket here. I think that's a little pocket there. And then another big pocket there. And then, is that a small pocket there? Yeah, small pocket there. So it has 6 pockets. They're ridiculous. It's so pretty. Anyway, so I'll try to fluff it up. There it is. It is so good. It's very well made. I love the canvas. I love the drawstring. So yeah, so this is going to be our bag prize, and I will either find a skein in my stash or dye up a skein of yarn to match this, and that will be the blue prize. So knit as many blue things as you can, put them in the Ravelry thread, which I hopefully, if I remember, I'll open it today. If not, I'll open it tomorrow, and we will close it in the middle of April. So blue is the color. So that is knit along news, and I think that might be it. I was gonna have some chit chat, but I think I did all of that in the beginning of the podcast. I think I pretty much did all of that in the beginning, which I didn't plan on doing. It just kind of happened. I hope everybody enjoyed the podcast. Oh, knitting podcast. I have been watching so many knitting podcasts recently. I've caught up on Knit for Brains, 2 Sticks and String, WTF Knitting, Very Little, and then right now I'm watching Knit Along podcast, which is Ashley of Nomadic Yarns, and I can't remember her friend's name, but she's just as much part of the podcast. I think Christy, I think is her name. And I'm watching their episodes right now to get caught up. And then when they are done, which in fact, I think I'm going to put them on my computer or my TV. I have a TV in the loft that I don't really use. Maybe I'll put them up there. I don't know. Figure it out. While I'm organizing yarn shelves, I got some more totes. I showed you guys how I put my sweater quantities in totes. I have 10 over here. There's 2 more up there. And I have some empty spots over here. I'm trying to organize, and I bought 20 more totes. So I'm going to go through and try to organize as much as I can, leaving the self-striping alone, destashing a lot of variegateds and tonals and speckles. If I didn't already have a project planned for it, or if I can't put it together with a pattern that I know that I want to knit, then it's probably going to get destashed because I'm not going to knit it anytime soon. So I will be having a destash on Instagram tomorrow. Make sure that you follow me on Instagram for that destash information. I will continue to decrease each listing by $1 until it sells, or until it gets to a ridiculously low price, and then I will pull it if nobody purchases it and put it in the giveaway pile. So that is the plan. Also, keep an eye on my Etsy shop, because first of all, right now I have the March yarn of the month and the April holiday sock sets, and it's holiday because it's actually just spring themed this month for April. And those are currently open in the shop, and they're gonna get closed on Monday. So if I get this up tonight or tomorrow and you're watching this, run, go check it out. I'm planning on dyeing them up on Monday, so I will be closing those listings on Monday. The theme this year is called Classics, and so far we had Fight Club the first month for January, and we had Princess Bride the second month for February, and I put a spoiler photo up on Instagram, which I will put at the end of this video, that shows the March hint. And my husband and my brother-in-law and my brother-in-law's girlfriend have really been getting into this, so it has been so much fun to do these photo shoots every month. And yeah, I'm excited. And also I have been working on some new bags for the shop. I have 10 total that are going into the shop. They are all different. No two are the same. I will say that the fabric on, there's a main fabric and a contrasting fabric on the bags, and the main fabric and contrasting fabric will rotate. So I will have two bags that are similar, where the main fabric is down here and the contrasting fabric is up here, and then those same two fabrics reversed on the second bag, but no two bags are the same. And I don't know when those are going to be on the shop. A lot of people have been asking me when I'm going to be making bags again, and I wasn't going to do it, but then I got really super frustrated at the beginning of the year with garment sewing, and I want to sew so bad, but I have needed to take a break from garment sewing, so I decided to make some bags for the shop. If they sell out, I will make more. If not, these 10 will be these 10. So if you want a bag, make sure you keep an eye on Instagram and Etsy. I'm not sure when they'll be in, but I think they might be in before I podcast next, or right after I podcast next. I will show whatever I have left on the next podcast. But what I have is what I have. So just keep an eye on it if you are interested in snagging a bag. Like I said, if I sell out, I'll make more. If there's a want, then I will make them. So yeah, I think that's it. So I'm gonna clean up a little bit, and then I'm gonna start organizing my shelves and putting some stuff together, which I'm really excited about. And I will, yeah, I think that's it. I think it's 10 o'clock now, 10:15 at night. So it'll be a fun evening. But anyway, I hope you guys had a wonderful couple weeks. My couple weeks have been kind of crazy. I've been in the office a lot and working a lot. My boss quit since the last podcast, which really sucks. He is a great boss. He was always very flexible, and he had the understanding that we are exempt employees, and so there was no micromanaging and no babysitting, and that was just fantastic because it gave me the flexibility to do things with my family or focus on the shop, and while still getting my daily work done. But now that he's leaving, that's going to be changing, and I am in the office a lot more now, which means I have a lot less time through the week to focus on the shop. I used to use my breaks and my lunches to do shop work, and now I can't do that. So it does kind of suck, but it is what it is. That's my day job. That's how I pay the bills. So I've got to put, I always put 100% into it, but I just need to make sure that I'm putting 110% in. So anyway, hope you guys had a great couple weeks, and I am looking forward to knitting all the things. I have lots of knitting plans, my blankets, my 2 shawls that I showed, my socks, my scrappy projects, and so hopefully I get lots of knitting in to show you guys in a couple weeks. Anyway, have a wonderful week, couple weeks, and I will see you soon. Bye.